So in an effort to continue my video series on stretches, basically different types of stretches that can make roundhouse kicks more comfortable. This seems to be an issue for a lot of people starting out in Muay Thai and kickboxing. And the general belief is that it's just an all-around lack of flexibility, which it is. But sometimes we focus on the wrong muscles. Now, I have released 2 other videos showing some exercises and drills and some stretches that I use to help improve my ability to comfortably throw roundhouse kicks. This will be video number 3, and these new stretches that I've learned have really just changed the game. To really round out your roundhouse, you have to kind of hit all the parts that are being used in that motion. So let's get to it. My previous videos focused on the hip flexors right here and the adductors. And generally that's what most people are going to focus on when they're trying to stretch and become more flexible so they can throw high kicks or even body kicks comfortably. Now another thing that we forget are the abductors, not the adductors. Have you ever thrown a roundhouse kick, and when you're throwing, it's not so much the tension under here, it's the tension up here. You feel like you can only kick so high. And what that is, it's not tension in your adductors, it's not tension in your hip flexors, it's actually tension in the abductor muscles along here and right here. So it's this section here that's tight. It's preventing you from being able to comfortably get your leg higher. So here's some stretches I've been doing recently, and it might just be the last piece in making you more agile so you can throw a comfortable, powerful, and effective roundhouse kick. So let's start with the first stretch, okay? Ultimately, this should look very familiar. You're gonna get into like a split stance, okay? And this was done before, and for a long time, I would just sit in this, go as far as I could and sit into this stretch for like a minute just to try to, again, stretch here, thinking that's what I needed. But what I didn't understand was focusing on this is not enough. I already feel tension here, right here. And I always kind of ignored that. I don't know, I guess most of us just assume that by stretching this, we're doing the right thing, and we don't understand how you would stretch. It's just part of it. It's just part of the lack of flexibility, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get into this split. And the good thing about this stretch is you don't even have to go as far as you can. You just go pretty far, close to as far as you can, but where you could comfortably stand. And this is because you're gonna turn your knees down, okay? I don't know how obvious that is. I'm gonna give you a different angle, but you turn your knees down towards the mat. When we're in this stance, my legs are straight. I'm gonna turn my knees down, and then you're gonna get this little anterior pelvic tilt here. You can stay upright, but a tilt there's nothing wrong with that. That's probably gonna happen. But your focus is on turning your knees in and down. And you're gonna feel tension here, okay? And you're gonna hold that. I'd say hold it for about a minute. Again, I'm not at my full stretch as far as how far I can go. So if you want, you could definitely take it further out. And then again, but your focus should be turning your knees inward. As my knees are turned inward, to really be effective at it and to really get a deep, deep stretch in my abductors, I do end up having to come up on the knife's edge, the inner edge instep of my foot, which is perfectly fine. Just make sure you're on a surface where you're not gonna slide out, okay? Some people keep their feet on the ground, but I like to really get these knees turned in as far as I can go, and you really feel that stretch. Shockingly as well, this actually started to help some MCL issues I was having, so multiple benefits. Again, we hold this for about a minute. After a minute, I'm gonna go into just a more traditional stretch. You see how I straighten out my legs. I'm gonna walk my feet out as far as I can go, comfortably, and don't let your toes point out. Keep them forward like you're on skis. And again, coming up on the knife's edge, trying to get as far as I can. Now, with my legs straight, not bending my knees downward, I'm gonna try to push my knees together like I'm trying to connect my feet underneath me while I'm in this stretch. Now, there's no tilt in my pelvis anymore. I'm upright. I'm in this stretch, and I flex my adductors, trying to close my legs while I'm in this stretch. As you do that, you'll feel the flexion here, and you should feel it back here. By flexing on the adductors, you take tension off of your abductors. A different angle, again, my legs are straight, I'm upright, tucking my tailbone, and I'm trying to connect my feet underneath me, okay? Now I do this for, if you could do a minute, like really flexing your adductors and trying to close your legs for a minute, awesome. If not, 30 seconds would be good. If you got to do it in like sets of 30 seconds, but really fight to try to close and feel that tension in between your legs. After a minute, now you can, if you want, you can really just sit in a stretch. Like, don't flex your adductors, don't, just relax and just let it all stretch. I like to do that for another 30 seconds to a minute. Because of doing that stretch where my knees turn inward first, the other two stretches, or the other two movements, I really felt my abductors engage more. Whereas when I used to sit in that stretch, I didn't feel those engaging as much. So for the next one, this is a pretty common position. It's a butterfly. Now you could do them up against a wall or out in the open. It's a little harder to brace yourself, so I like to do them up against a wall. And you put your feet together, but they don't have to like stay together. They can open up as long as the bottom knife edge of your foot is connected, okay? Now, the first movement we're gonna do is my hands kind of come down my side, my back is flat, and I'm gonna fight to push my knees to the mat or to the floor. So I'm sitting here and I'm really fighting, pushing my knees downward. And you'll feel that in your adductors. You'll feel the stretch right in here. So 10, 20 seconds. Now we're gonna go in the opposite direction and I'm gonna try to push my knees up. Now without any tension or force pushed against these knees, of course, look, I could just pull my knees up. But for this to work, I'm gonna push down on my knees and now I'm gonna try to bring my knees up. So opposing forces, I'm pushing down and I'm trying to bring my knees up. That's gonna engage my abductors. By using my muscles on the inside here trying to close, you're actually loosening that there, okay? So here, pushing upward. Again, about 10, 20 seconds. When you're done, then we go again. We push the knees down towards the floor. About 10, 20 seconds. Apply force here, or resistance, and then push upward. 10, 20 seconds. I do this 4 times. So pushing down, pushing up, 1 set. Down, up, 2 sets. I do 4 sets. And the last movement in this video is just a standard gymnastics like pancake, okay? This is a gymnastic stretch, it's called a pancake, but there's some pretty important details I want you to understand, okay? So, this is another good one because you don't have to like try to work your feet out to as far as they could possibly go. You can open as comfortable as you want. If this is it, this is it. If this is it, you want to put a little bit of tension, so you want to push it out to where there is tension. You don't want to be like right here to where you could just comfortably sit. Create a little discomfort, but again, you don't need to be in a full stretch. It probably won't even work if you try to do that. Now, what this is again, it looks like a standard stretch where you would just reach forward. The difference being you have to pay attention to what you're engaging in order to move your body in the proper way. So most people, their feet will come up and they reach like this. I do that. Or you point your toes down and you reach like this. Again, another stretch that I do. I did not understand that to fully work my abductors and to get the proper stretch for what we are trying to achieve, as far as making this backside nice and loose for our roundhouse kick, is that you have to curl everything forward. So you have to imagine that you're trying to get the inside of your legs flat on the mat along with your chest and your face. So everything is gonna pancake forward. So you start with your toes, you curl your toes, your feet, your shins into your knees, your thighs, everything starts to curl forward and then you reach. Again, trying to get the insides of your legs onto the mat. So I do about 20 seconds and then I do it like 3 or 4 times, right? So as you noticed, I was a little comfortable after that stretch, so I did open my feet a little wider. And again, we go into the stretch, starting with our toes, curling everything forward. Now, some gymnasts, some really flexible people, they will lay themselves completely flat. You don't have to try to achieve that. Just do what you can do because it is having the effect that you desire. And I promise you, when you are finished and you throw your roundhouse kicks, you will feel the difference. You will feel the agility that you have gained through these stretches. This one's a bit of a fight, guys. You have to really push all this down. And as you can tell, it's not like I'm super flexible in this movement and able to just lay flat down. But again, I'm getting the results I want. Okay, guys, so I do that stretch routine along with some of my others 3 to 4 times a week. Again, our focus has always been on flexibility inside here and on our hip flexors here, but forgetting about the flexibility and the strength in our adductors. And we don't realize how much of that we are using. Trust me, do this and you will see the results. Guys, I hope you're gaining benefits from these videos that we are producing. I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.